Hello everyone and welcome back again. I'm Milligear Vapor and I've got another review for you today. I apologize for not having your reviews out in a while. I've been on vacation for the past about two and a half weeks, and I've had my big giveaway. I'm still shipping out some of the winners, so there's about 4 people left that have not received their winnings, but I have contacted all the winners and all that fun stuff. So let's go ahead and get on with the review today, guys. And today we're going to be taking a look at this CigGo T 100 watt temp control device. This thing is pretty cool. I had a company called Bayaway send it to me. So without further ado, let's get to the review. Alright guys, so today we're taking a look at this CigGo T 100 watt temp control starter kit. Now this thing is pretty cool. It fits really well in your hands. I like how you can fire it with your thumb or come around and fire with your index finger here. It has an internal battery with 2500 milliamps of battery power, and it'll shoot up to 100 watts, which is pretty cool. The tank on here, it comes with this starter kit, and the one that they sent me actually only came with nickel coils, so I didn't get the experience with Kanthal coils for this tank, so I can't really say anything about the Kanthal mode, but the temp control mode was nice. I got some pretty good flavor out of it. But let's go ahead and talk about more of the specs of this bad boy. So the battery capacity on this bad boy is 2500 milliamps. Now that's not a whole lot when you have 100 watts that you could potentially use with this thing. For me, I was pushing about 75 watts on an RDA, and I got about a half a day of use out of it. Now to put this in perspective, if you have a CoilFire 4 Plus, that has about 3300 milliamps of battery, and this thing only has 2500 milliamps of battery power, or battery life I should say. So, I mean, it's got a smaller battery capacity, but you got more wattages, or you got higher wattage range. So, it's a little different, something you got to get used to. And so, I mean, a sub tank will be good on this, it will last you a day, but if you're going to run an RDA on this, you can expect that battery to only last you about a half a day. So if you're wondering how low you can build on this, you can build all the way down to 0.2 ohms and above. That's all it says. So, I mean, I guess you could build from what it says in the manual all the way up to infinity. So, 0.2 ohms and above. So the tank that comes with this starter kit is 23 millimeters in diameter and has a 3.5 milliliter tank capacity. Now mine, like I said earlier, only came with nickel coils, and I talked to them and they said that they're going to be actually providing with this kit a nickel coil and a Kanthal coil, because a lot of you guys, if you're like me, you're not the biggest fan of nickel, you're not a biggest fan of temp control, you'd rather just use a regular wattage. So they will be providing a Kanthal coil with this, and the nickel coil that came with this tank was a 0.2 ohm nickel coil. And that's pretty much it for the specs, guys. Let's go ahead and take it up close and get to know this thing just a little better. Alright guys, so here's the box that your CigGo T is going to come in. You have, of course, the front here. It tells you all about the coils, the watts, the temp control, all that fun stuff. On the back, it just kind of tells you what comes in it. Very simple. So we go ahead and open it up, and then your starter kit will be right here. And then you get the charging cable, the micro USB that you can plug in to your computer or whatever the case is. And then up here you get something that's called spares, and it just kind of comes with an extra coil head as well as another drip tip. So that's all what comes inside this box. Alright guys, let's go ahead and take a look at this CigGo T. So the starter kit here, the mod portion is pretty much plain. It has a nice kind of like hard plastic feel to it. You know, it feels really lightweight, and it feels pretty good in your hands. And here's your fire switch. Your tank, of course, is up here on top, and then here on the bottom is your screen. Now if you look here at the tank, you can fill it up from the bottom here just like you would a normal tank. I'm not going to take it off because you guys know how tanks work. So you just fill it up like you would a normal tank. The top spins and doesn't really do much of anything. But the drip tip, of course, you can take that out and put your own drip tip in if you wish. And that's pretty much it. This thing is super simple. I mean, just a little mod here, and that's just a simple little starter kit. Let's go ahead and talk about the functionality. Alright guys, let's go ahead and talk real quick about the functionality here. And just a fun fact, I hate screens on the bottom. They're just a pain to use. So to turn this on, you're going to press it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it's already on. And right now I have it in temp control mode. So to change the actual temperature, you just press the up and down arrow and you will change the temperature. If you want to change it to Fahrenheit, you click it twice, 1, 2. You go into Fahrenheit mode, then 1, 2 again, get you back in Celsius. And that's pretty much it for temp control. Now if you want to switch it to Fahrenheit mode, you just go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you turn it off. And then you do it again to turn it back on. You get this fancy logo, and then you switch it to variable wattage mode and you fire it. And now you're in variable wattage mode. So since I'm in variable voltage mode, I want to go back to variable wattage mode. 1, 2, gets you back to variable wattage mode, and then you can press up and down, and that changes the watch there. And of course you guys can see you have your resistance and your voltage up there on the side, And like I said, this thing is pretty simple to use, very simplistic. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out how to use this thing. I mean, very, very simple to use. So that's pretty much it for the functionality, guys. Let's go ahead and take it back up and talk about the pros and the cons. Let's go ahead and talk about the pros and the cons. So my first pro for this CigGo T 100 watt temp control starter kit is the flavor is not bad. I kind of enjoyed the flavor with this. It really brought out the sweet notes in the juices. Now, is this one of the best tanks I've ever used? No, I mean it's an average good sub tank, just along the lines with any of the sub tanks out there. It didn't blow me away by any means, but really good flavor out of this bad boy. And my next pro is the ergonomics and the size and the feel of this thing. I love the feel of this mod, and I also like how small it is. I mean, compared to a lot of other box mods, and it's really lightweight as well. Fits really well in your hands, firing it with your thumb or your index finger. It's just a really nice size little mod here, so I have to raise that as a pro. So that's it for the pros. Let's go ahead and move on to the cons. My first con for this is kind of two things. One is that the screen is here on the bottom. I've never been a big fan of the screen being on the bottom, just because when you sit here and try to adjust the wattage, your tank, or a lot of times your tanks will leak, and this tank did leak. So that was kind of the second con there. And one, this tank leaked pretty bad, kind of the worst leaking that I've had in a tank. I had this thing pretty full of juice, and you could just see drip, drip, drip. I mean, sometimes you'll get oozing out of some tanks if you could kind of hold it like this, but this one just was just dripping juice out. It was pretty bad. So this one thing you have to bear in mind, this tank right here leaks pretty bad. And my next con for this device right here is the battery capacity. The battery capacity is only 2,500 milliamps. Now, if you put that in comparison, you know, you've got, like I said, the COIL 4 Plus that has 3,300 milliamps, and then you have, you know, some other smaller mods that, you know, have lower wattage, you know, capacities. You can go like 30 watt, 20 watt mods that only have 2,000 milliamps. So, I mean, this thing is just, you have a lot of wattage, not enough battery power to back